introduce your United States Representative and America First Patriot, Congresswoman Mary Miller.
Remarks with Republicans is starting right now.
What initially inspired you to run for Congress, and what moment solidified that decision for you?
Well, I was finishing up homeschooling my children, and I actually prayed and asked God what He wanted me to do after my children graduated. And I finished my prayer with, wherever you lead me, I want to be willing to go. And so this seat opened up. The man that held it previously had been there for 24 years. And then I was trying to find someone to run for the seat. And that's when local people kind of got together and they said they wanted me to run. And they posited the idea to me, and they put up a lot of money. And then my husband and I prayed about it and decided I would go for it. So I'm excited because it's given me so many opportunities.
Serving in Washington can be intense. What keeps you grounded?
Well, first of all, you have to have a plumb line for what you do in life and in D.C. So the plumb line for my life is the Bible. The plumb line for me as a politician is the Constitution and the party platform. So when I make votes, I make sure that, I'm not getting off those three documents when I vote.
What has been your proudest accomplishment in Congress so far?
I think starting the Congressional Family Caucus to stand up for the American family, because our country was founded on faith and family. And also going forward, we want to encourage young people to get married and have children. We want families to be able to have affordable housing and reasonable tax rates. It's just given me a lot of opportunity to stand up for the family and for kids. I want you to have an excellent education.
What are the biggest challenges facing rural communities like Hancock County right now?
I think and President Trump and J.D. Vance understand it, that because of public policy, rural America has been hollowed out. And so much of our manufacturing left the country, and mining was shut down and other things because of overregulation. So President Trump and his team are deregulating, and they're using tariffs and other incentives to drive manufacturing back to the area. So I think it will cause rural America to flourish again.
Farmers and small businesses are the backbone of this district. What are you working on that specifically supports them?
Well, we've passed the Working Families Tax Cut Act, and it's a historic bill of tax cuts and reforms. And people are going to start to see more money in their pocket, and it will really benefit small businesses and families and households.
We're seeing younger generations leave small towns. What can be done to keep opportunity here?
Well, like I said, we need to drive manufacturing back. We need to deregulate so that it's not hard to be able to be productive, because production is what causes countries, communities, and households to thrive. So, yeah.
Inflation has been a major concern. What policies do you believe are most effective in lowering costs for families?
Right. So President Trump did not cause the problems, he inherited them. And it's way harder to build something than to tear it down. And so under Joe Biden for 4 years, they tore down everything that caused, our country to thrive. And also they spent recklessly on foolish things like the Green Bad Deal. I call it a bad deal because it's not good for America. But they spent trillions of dollars and printed it. So once that money's in the system, it makes our money worth less or worthless. And so I think his idea of cutting taxes, deregulating, and negotiating good trade agreements will help our economy.
Border security and national security remain major topics. What should Americans understand that maybe they aren't hearing in the headlines?
Yes, well, President Trump has done extraordinary things in just 1 year. For the first time in 50 years, the U.S. has negative net migration. And we've deported 622,000 illegal aliens. 1.9 million have already self-deported. And the more we cut off taxpayer-funded benefits to illegal aliens, I believe the more they will self-deport.
Energy independence has been widely discussed. How does energy policy affect Illinois specifically?
Oh my, you are asking great questions. I have always said everything goes back to energy because, first of all, just to transport a product is influenced by how much gasoline or diesel fuel costs. But also, for example, if you own a restaurant in Illinois, because they've shut down our affordable and reliable energy, I've talked to restaurant owners whose energy bills have tripled. So the green energy is not affordable or reliable, and China is laughing at us. They are not using that. They're using coal, cheap coal, and other things like that. So we need to get back to gas, oil, coal, and nuclear. I'm very excited about the new, smaller nuclear plants that we can have, and I think it's exciting on the horizon.
You've recently endorsed Josh Higgins. What qualities stood out to you when deciding to give him your support?
Yes, well, I really appreciate that he's a family man. He's very involved in the community, and he has a faith background that should hold him to, like I say, a plumb line for what he's going to do as he represents the people. And I think his opponent has shown that she's voted for bad policy. She has a bad voting record, I think maybe an F as a conservative. And the people here are conservatives, so he would much better represent the people. I'm very excited for him. He's going to win.
What do you look for in the next generation of Republican leaders?
Well, you're a great example. You're like a little Charlie Kirk here. I love it. The next generation of Republican leaders, like I say, need to be grounded, and they've got to have plumb lines. And I recommend the scriptures, the Constitution, and the party platform. But I think you all are going to have a lot of challenges ahead, so you have to be courageous and strong. And I hope you know our history and our heroes, and you realize that our country is worth fighting for because we are the most free nation and have offered the most opportunities to anybody of any nation that's ever existed in the history of the world.
Faith plays a significant role in many voters' lives. How does your faith guide your leadership decisions?
Well, so I don't just believe in God, I follow the scriptures, and the scriptures tell us what is good and right. It tells us where we came from and why we're here. It defines marriage and good and evil. So without that, everything's just arbitrary.
Have you ever faced a moment where standing firm on your principles came out at a
Political cost? Well, every day I have that. And unfortunately, the left has such bad ideas that they can only lie about us and call us names. But I don't really care. I care about what God thinks and what my constituents think.
What advice would you give young conservatives who want to get involved in politics?
Well, I think you should, and you're doing the right thing by supporting Josh. Find a candidate that you can support and do what you can to help him. But also, you need to be a reader. If you want to be a leader, you need to be a reader. So study our history and our heroes, and you'll do great.
If a high school or middle school student says, I want to run for office someday, what's their first step?
Well, I would say that they need to have life experiences. So get your education, make up your mind to be a lifelong learner, get a job or start a business, get married, buy a home, and serve your family and community. And that will equip you to make right decisions to represent your neighbors.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee every time.
Early bird or night owl?
early bird.
Favorite founding father?
John Adams.
Favorite place in Illinois?
My home with my grandkids.
Book you recommend?
Oh, the Bible. But I just read another one I just read and couldn't put down. It's Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas's autobiography. And I loved it. He's he is a national hero. Not only that, but he's such a victor. He grew up with everything against him, but yet he overcame. And that's why our country's amazing, that people like him that have been kind of kicked around from youth and, persecuted and had hard things happen, he rose above it, and he's such an excellent Supreme Court justice. I recommend that book.
Go-to campaign snack?
Nuts.
One word to describe America?
Free.
One word to describe rural Illinois?
Oh my, love. I love it.
First job you ever had?
Well, I babysat, but the most interesting job, and you'll probably laugh, I worked in a bubblegum factory in college. Wrigley's. It was very sickening. The smell was so sweet, but I survived. It was part of my life experiences.
If you were in Congress, what would you be doing?
I would be teaching children because it's so important that you all get an excellent education.
Best advice you've ever received?
Oh my, I've had a lot of good advice. But I think being a man pleaser is a trap. So I think being concerned about what God thinks and the people that matter to you most, like your husband and family, that's what's important.
And final question, most misunderstood issue in Washington?
Oh my. I would have to, but you should have given that to me ahead of time. I would have to think about that. There's a lot of misunderstood issues in Washington, but President Trump has been so maligned. He's been lied about, and he is an amazing president. He's accomplishing great things for our country. I wouldn't even say necessarily that he's a conservative. He's a populist president. He cares about the American people. He wants us to be productive and free, and he loves our country. So I think that he's the one that's been misunderstood.
Thanks for speaking with me.
Well, you're welcome. I wish you all the best.